Hello, Retroburn here. Going to do a short clip, and today we have Exanima. That's what I'm going to do a Let's Play video about. So I found this game. It's an action RPG thingamajig that has design schemes along the lines of Diablo. So I'm not really a fan of the ARPG genre, but I'm quite attracted to them in the sense that I have Torchlight 2 and the Darksider series in my Steam library, but I really am not an ARPG player. But this one has attracted me because it features gameplay mechanics that are not found in other ARPG games. It has this melee system that you have to, drag and switch your mouse across the screen just like in games like Amnesia. So I'm quite interested in what this early access game can bring us. This is version 0.5 by the way, so it's not by any means finished. It's in its, I don't know, beta or alpha state. So I've been digging around. I've been playing with this game for maybe 10 minutes, and to tell you the truth, this is going to end rather horribly because I haven't still gotten the hang of it. But when you first start this game, the developers had this whole document saying that you have to read the control schemes in the controls menu, the quick start guide, so let's do that. So you've got movement, hold the right mouse button to move in the direction of the cursor, the distance of the cursor from your character controls whether you walk or run. Also holding run sprint will cause your character to move faster. Alternatively, you can use forward, back, left, and right to move while leaving your cursor free to interact with the environment. Interaction. You can move smaller objects near your character by dragging them with the left mouse button. While dragging an object, press forward, back, left, and right to rotate it. You can also manipulate certain objects, such as doors, by dragging on them with the left mouse button. A locked door will not move and play a sound to indicate that it is locked. Clicking on an object once will bring up a description if available. Clicking the description window again will pin it so that you can open multiple such windows at once. All windows can be closed by right-clicking on them. Some objects can be interacted with by double-clicking. This includes containers, keys, switches, consumables, etc. The object can be used on something, the cursor will change to reticle, and you must select the target. This can be an item in the road, in a container, or inventory, or your favorite doll. Combat. When you hit, with that part of your weapon and not card are all determined by you. These things are what makes the difference in effective scrapes and deadly blows. Like in real combat, you should focus on timing and measuring each attack. Make every blow count. You just stumble around and rig your weapon wildly, you might get lucky, but you won't get very far. Be patient and be precise. This is a highly tactical combat system. To enter combat mode, press toggle combat. Once in combat mode, your character always turns to face the cursor, and the left mouse button will swing your weapon. You may still interact with certain objects by holding interact. Simply holding the left mouse button will swing your weapon from right to left and follow it up with an attack in the opposite direction. You can interrupt your attacks at any time by releasing the button. This allows you to perform feints and quickly block incoming attacks. You can initiate left to right swings by moving the cursor over your character's left shoulder as you press the mouse button. It is your cursor's position relative to your character as you press the button that determines this. You should do it quickly, and then resume aiming your swing. You'll find that this motion, when done right, can greatly increase the power of your attacks. You can initiate powerful overhead attacks by double-clicking and holding the left mouse button. While easily avoided, these attacks can deliver deadly blows and are useful for attacking prone opponents. While in combat, the movement keys will cause your character to take steps in the direction relative to your cursor. By combining cursor movements and different movement keys, you can effectively step in any direction. Fast dashes and dodges can be executed in one of two ways depending on the control configuration. In hold mode, a dash is executed when the movement key is held weakly. Quick taps result in short steps. In double tap mode, dashes are executed by double tapping the keys, and holding the keys results in repeated short steps. Combining dashes, swings, and movements of the cursor can produce many different results and put momentum to a character's movements and attacks. These things are instrumental in passing your opponent's defenses and in delivering powerful blows. You should experiment with the controls to get a feel for what is possible. Timing also plays a fundamental role in combat. Just learn to attack your opponent when they present you with an opening and your guard is down. Similarly, you must be careful to not expose yourself to lethal damage. Your character will always attempt to protect itself from attacks, but a successful block requires its position, and turn yourself to intercept the blow and not be performing any other action. Even if you fail to completely block an attack, attempting to defend against it will result in taking significantly less damage. Non-player characters are subject to the same exact rules as players, and even simulate even reaction times. Your opponents will vary significantly in skill and their combat style. This, above all else, will determine the challenge you face. Even opponents never possess innate statistical advantages. Camera, so this is the usual. It can be zoomed around using the mouse wheel orbited by holding orbit camera and dragging in the direction, or align to the cursor position by pressing align camera. Weapons carry various values describing their properties. These properties should not be considered as damage values. A weapon may be very sharp and carry high slash value, but lack the means to effectively deliver cutting power. Above all, the physical forces being applied will determine the effectiveness of a blow. The shape of weapon, the distribution of its mass, and a character's control over the blow will ultimately determine its effects. All weapons behave very differently. You should try to learn to use different weapons to determine which will fit your playstyle best. The descriptions need some editing. I think it needs more semicolons. Weight. The overall weight of a weapon. Heavier weapons deliver blows with greater force but are slower. Balance. How well balanced a weapon is. Better balanced weapons are more responsive, allowing attacks to be initiated and recovered from more quickly. Impact. How well a weapon transfers the force of a blow to start. Top and heavy weapons typically feature higher impact values. Impact is primarily a source of non-lethal damage, but sufficiently large impacts can cause lethal injury. The force a weapon is capable of delivering will influence the effectiveness of other damage types. Slash. The sharpness of an edged weapon and its cutting power. Slash damage can be effective and even when applied with relatively little force. It can cut and slice as well as chop. It is, however, easily mitigated by armor. Pierce. Piercing potential of a weapon is strong. Piercing damage is particularly effective at exploiting gaps in armor. Crush. Crushing power of a weapon. Crushing weapons are potentially capable of bending the strongest armor and delivering damage through it. However, rely heavily on a strong force being applied to the impact. Thrust. Piercing damage delivered via thrusts. Weapons with sharp points will feature a higher thrust rating. However, impact damage may still be delivered with a thrust. How do you thrust this game? I think the instructions only involve cutting and slashing, but no thrusting. I'm not too sure. Armor and apparel. Various items of clothing and armor can be worn together and layered for better protection. Armor will only protect parts of the body it actually covers. If a part of the body that is partially or completely exposed is hit, then armor will have a reduced or no effect. Nice. The values in armor should not be directly compared to those of weapons. These are ratings equal for comparing armors against each other. Impact. How much of the force of an impact the armor can absorb and redistribute. Impact mitigation is effective against all types of combat damage, and layering armor is very effective in increasing wrist protection. Rigid and padded armors typically offer the best impact protection. Slash. A rating for protection against slashing damage. Even slight protection can effectively prevent a sharp edge from cutting through. Pierce. A rating for protection against piercing damage. Thick and dense armor typically offers the best protection against piercing damage. Crush. A rating for protection against crushing damage. Rigid armors protect best against crushing damage, but a very strong blow makes it cause the armor to bend or flex, and fail to entirely protect the wearer. Coverage. Coverage is a rough estimate of how effectively a piece of armor covers the body part it is worn over compared to an equivalent item. So the takeaway here is that this game tries to simulate the effects of real combat and not just, clicking on opponents. So let's make a new game. And the first thing you see are a pair of tits. I had to censor this. Anyway, there's this handy male female thing magic, but I prefer to play as female. Male bodies are very boring to look at, especially in ARPGs when you have to stare at their characters for hours on end. So let's choose the female gender, and we have a handy physique tablet that is not. Oh, there you go. So the farther you go up, the thinner your character becomes, and if you go right, the fatter your character is. So I think the balance here is if you want a physically well-toned character, you're using this quadrant right here. So let's pick that, and the skin tone is perfect already. And with another voice. He is nice. Oh, we've got bitch. Okay, there you go. And for the face, I think this is perfect already. And we also have a very flexible, powerful tool for adjusting your hair color, but it's not as flexible as it is because it doesn't contain otherworldly colors like bright blue or stuff like that. So we're stuck with brown and auburn hues. So let's pick that one and then we click on next. And these are all similar except for their colors. So let's pick this one so it'll be easier to see our character. But let's choose the darker colored trousers and shoes, and then let's create. Take note that this game has a permanent death feature, so I think because the last time I played this, when I went back after I exited the game, it doesn't save. Or I don't know, maybe they're going to implement that in the next builds. So what you're going to do with the torch is you click and then you drag it here and then you drag it again and then your character does that. So this game has a very nifty physics mechanics, so watch as I stumble on things. Space, and there you go. So you see, objects really affect your character, and sometimes even things will cause her to stumble, like so. So you have to watch out for this when you're running away from. I think this game has a horror theme like Diablo. And in the launch trailer, it shows several zombies attacking the character, and skeletons. So yeah, I'm very right about the Diablo feel about this one. And so you just click drag to open doors, and then you right click to move. And the farther your cursor is from your character, the faster she runs. There are also doors that are locked, like this one. Can't open them. You press space to align your camera so wherever your cursor is, and at this point the game is quiet. I think I only met 2 enemies in my last playthrough, the first time I fiddled with this game, and each one just slaughtered my character. So though I still haven't gotten the hang of how to properly do swings. So the way you do swings is you just click on tab and it'll enter the combat mode for this game, like so, and then you can just click on the left mouse, and if you just do nothing, your character is going to block. So that's one thing. If you swipe, you're going to leave yourself open, so you have to time your attacks right. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And if you just click double tap, that's just going to do that. So I'm hoping that I'm going to, whoa, not that one. Okay, see ya. So I'm hoping I can find a room with armor and weapons, because I tried to go, I tried to engage that zombie dude, and oh shit, no, run. Okay, so I think this is going to be the end of the video, because whoop. Sidestep. There you go, connected. So this is a pretty one-sided affair, in that the other dude has a long sword and I have a torch and I'm dead. So that ends part 1. So this has been Retroburn, and you just seen my first Let's Play Exanima video, which ended in, I guess, right, a total disaster. But if you like this video, guys, please like and subscribe. Would go a long way to supporting my channel. So stay cool, stay frosty.